Hey folks, this is Rain Blaze. Today I want to talk with you about the three types of sexual education, at least the theories in the United States today. One of them is nothing, zero, zilch. Tell them nothing. Basically, the person has a tool which they have absolutely no idea what to do, what the safety protocols are, how to use it. Well, a lot of people figure out how to use their tools. But if you give them absolutely no instruction, no information, how are they going to know how to be safe? If you hand your kid a shotgun, loaded and everything, and you give them absolutely no information about how to avoid shooting themselves in the face, how to avoid shooting other people, you're doing just that. You're handing somebody a loaded weapon. And in the case of sexuality, humans, well, on average in the United States, females reach sexual maturity around 13. Or sexual maturity as in they could potentially get pregnant. Males between 13 to 16. Some of them a little bit less, some of them a little bit older. But if you teach them absolutely nothing, what will they have? They'll have media images. They'll have books. They'll see their friend down the street who got pregnant, or who got someone pregnant. And they don't realize the repercussions. That if you are not ready for it, if you are not financially sound, you're probably going to wind up in poverty, especially if you're an unwed female. Now, given I'm only talking about heterosexuals in this video, sorry my fellow flamers out there, this is for the straights. So yes, Idea 1, tell them nothing. Idea 2, abstinence only. The thing is that abstinence only, well, you know what? It is a good idea. If you don't do it, if you don't intermingle certain areas, nothing will happen. But the thing is, it's unrealistic. Abstinence only classes, you get a very tiny voice saying don't do it. Save it for marriage. Number one, they don't exactly explain what it is. Because, I mean, it could be everything from oral or manual to anal to coitus. What exactly is sex? Abstinence only, don't have sex, whatever it is, until marriage. But in today's society, you have that tiny voice saying don't do it till marriage, and yet you have a larger voice, a larger group of sexual images all around them, from music on today's radios to images in media, images in other types of media, from television, video games, movies, advertisements, magazines, and so forth. Given, you know what, abstinence only might work for some people, but it's not realistic for the population at large. If you're in a very tight-knit religious community, perhaps it will work. But the far majority of America is not. The far majority of America goes to public schools. Their families, while they might sit around the dinner table, quite a bit of America, not as often as the family would like, they don't have that direct social pressure on them to save it for marriage. And you also have the issue of people getting married just to boink, which is not healthy either. Then you have your third option: condoms, barriers, birth control. Now, given you are telling them everything, you are teaching them about how the organs work, how exactly it happens. You were talking about oral, anal, manual, hand jobs. You were talking about coitus. You were talking about penis in vagina. But you're also telling them, okay, you know what? If you use this little latex barrier or this little vinyl barrier, you wrap it before you tap it, you are relieving yourself of responsibility. If a man out there, he uses a condom, and he uses condoms consistently every time when engaging in coitus, fertilative behavior, he can guarantee that that baby's not going to be his if that situation arises, because he uses a condom. He takes his stuff out. He takes his genetic material away from the area so that none of it is left behind. Women using birth control pills, aka that egg that's inside your ovary once it is popped out, gets inside your fallopian tube, that egg is not there. Because how a birth control pill works is it evens out your hormone levels. So your body does not produce that egg. It's not there. It cannot be fertilized. Now given that takes a while to get into the swing of things, and meanwhile you'll probably want to be using condoms. Or there's even the female condom. Yes, I know it's disgusting. And well, it doesn't quite work as well as the male condom. But ladies, he drops his stuff in your sack. You can pull that sack right out. It works. And I won't even go into STDs right now because abstinence only, yes, you know what, abstinence only does prevent STDs. Kind of. Because when people think abstinence, they think no penis and vagina. Which is why the AIDS rate is on the rise in heterosexuals. Well, it's on the rise in general because of abstinence-only education. You have more people developing herpes and whatnot within the mouth because they're engaging in oral behavior rather than in coitus. But getting back to condoms, you're protecting yourself. And you know what? If you feel ready, if you feel that it's right, you can engage in sexual behavior, but you can also know that you're protected. The thing is that if you have all these media images and so forth telling you to do it and that sex is okay and sex is wonderful, which obviously they don't know what they're talking about sometimes, because it can be, it can't be. You're protecting yourself. If there's that barrier in place, you're not going to get pregnant. If there's that barrier in place, chances of getting an STD drop significantly. So, telling them nothing. You're giving them a loaded shotgun, and they have the potential of shooting themselves in the face or shooting somebody else. Abstinence only. You're giving them that shotgun, but you're saying only point it at the one deer you want to shoot. And that deer will be the only deer you ever get to shoot for the rest of your life. Ideally. Or condoms. Condoms, birth control. You are handing that person that loaded shotgun and you are giving them a safety course. You are telling them, okay, you know what? You can go out and you can shoot a squirrel. You can go out and you can shoot a deer. But this is how you do it safely. You make sure that you aim properly. You make sure that you do not put your finger on the trigger until you're ready to shoot it. And you're telling them what the aftermath, what the consequences might be of shooting that deer or shooting that squirrel. So that's my little discussion about the three theories, the three ideas of teaching your kids about sexual education in the United States today. Yeah, I'm not walking around my living room. Hopefully this is a little bit more concise ideas.